Meta AI is the personal AI to help you with whatever you need. Plus, it meets you where you are. Not only is Meta AI now an app, but it's also on the apps you already know and love: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Plus the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to use throughout your day. Experience our newest AI that's tailored to you by downloading the Meta AI app. Try the Meta AI app today on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
The Manage Smarter Show is brought to you by SalesCred, the app that helps salespeople discover why they miss quota and what to do about it. Find out more at salescred.com. Welcome to the Manage Smarter Podcast with hosts C. Lee Smith and Audrey Strong. We're glad you're here for discussions on new ways to manage smarter, hire, develop, and retain talent, improve results, and propel team performance to new heights. This is the Manage Smarter Podcast.
Well, you know, Lee, I sound a little stuffed up because after 3 years of hiding, I finally got COVID. So, you know, this is a show about wellness, but everybody
perfect.
Excuse the voice. It's a little bit raspy sounding. Welcome to Manage Smarter, everyone. I'm Audrey Strong. I'm the Vice President of Communications here at Sales Fuel.
And I'm C. Lee Smith. I am the CEO of Sales Fuel.
So we're going to talk about wellness today, and we have a great guest for it. And we've never in 3 years of doing the show have touched this topic. Can you believe it?
No, it's hard to believe, but, it's like, you've heard me say on this show a couple of times anyway, that a dead battery can't jumpstart a dead battery. So as managers, as leaders, it is our responsibility then to motivate people, to keep everybody performing at their best and bringing their best selves to work. And create an environment where they can do that. And it's hard to do that when, we're just dragging ourselves through the day because we haven't taken care of ourselves. We haven't gotten enough sleep. We're not eating right. We're overly stressed, and we're not dealing with, what is obviously right there in front of us.
And our fantastic guest today is going to have answers to a lot of that stuff. It's Victoria Albina, a mastered certified somatic life coach, UCSF-trained family nurse practitioner, and breathwork meditation guide. She's got a passion for helping humans socialized as women realize that they are their own best healers by reconnecting with their bodies and minds so they can break free from codependency, perfectionism. I've got a problem with that. And people-pleasing and reclaim their joy and your joy, listeners. She is the host of the Feminist Wellness Podcast. She has a master's degree in public health from Boston University School of Public Health and a BA in Latin American Studies from Oberlin College. And she's been
right
in
up
health
the road.
For 20. And yes, Lee, you're in Columbus, and Victoria right down the road at
up
Oberlin.
the road, yeah. Yeah.
Welcome, Victoria. So this is such a huge playing field. I guess one thing you say is being selfless as a leader is detrimental to your health. Should we start with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Delighted to dive in there. Yeah, when we think about health, we can throw Descartes right under the bus and start with the mind-body duality, right? And this story that we are a mind to attend to in one room and a body to attend to in another. And so people either go to the gym or work on their mental health, but it really is, for me, all about the connection between the two, right? And realizing that we are a mind body. And so as leaders, we really need to, yes, attend to our sleep, drink enough water, take our supplements, do all the physical wellness things. But if we are being codependent with our employees, with our clients, with our families, if we are leading from perfectionism, if we are people pleasing, the people we're meant to be leading, then our mental wellness is going to suffer, and our bodies, because mind and body are one, are going to show the symptoms and signs of not being aligned and not being embodied in a profound way.
A lot of managers get tripped up by having this need to be liked, by the direct reports. And where does that come from? I mean, because it's really detrimental to leadership.
Yeah. So I talk about emotional outsourcing, which is the way I reframe and think about codependent, perfectionist, and people-pleasing habits. Because I think that term codependency, people are like, what is that? I don't know what that is. I'm not married to an alcoholic. That's not me. But emotional outsourcing, I think, really sums it up. It's when we chronically and habitually source our sense of wellness, worth, and validation from everyone and everything outside of ourselves instead of from within. And so when we are people pleasing our direct reports, oh, it's okay that it's late. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm the cool boss. Then we are doing everyone a disservice because we're putting their story, their emotional relationship to us ahead of the direct values of our agency, of our the space that we're running, right?
Yeah, you're really giving away your power, right? Because like you're letting other people dictate, your emotional well-being, rather than
100%.
you being in charge of it yourself.
Yeah. And not only do we give away our power, we make someone else in charge in a way that is unwittingly manipulative and controlling.
So how do you get yourself to stop doing that?
You get embodied. You get present. You come home to yourself, right? So I talk a lot about somatic practice, where soma means the body in Greek, and somatics is the modalities that help us to get in touch with our bodies. So many of us, particularly those of us who are go-getters, A+, gold star, the folks who are often in leadership and management because we go, and get that next golden ring, right? We live in our heads. We live from the neck up, and we forget that we are a body. And so it really is the process of coming home to our body where our intuition lives. Right? And if you look at the top CEOs on this planet, they are connected with their intuition. They meditate daily. They listen to that gut feeling, and they lead and drive their companies forward from their intuition. And the intuition lives firmly in the body. It's not the purview of the mind. And so we get to return to that mammalian drive within us that says, I know what's best. And our brains are where our socialization, our conditioning, our reactions to the world live. But our bodies hold our innate wisdom. And so how do we step out of this morass of codependency, come back to presence, come back to the breath, come back to the body?
How can you tell that you're making decisions, based on your intuition, or some people say, I go with my gut, and your gut basically is learned experience over time. But it's like, how can you tell that you're listening to your intuition and not listening to fear and past trauma?
Tone. So tone is it, right? So the tone of the intuition is prosodic. It has this kind of voice and says, turn left. Don't hire her. He needs, right? And it guides us from this gentle, firm, directed, calm, present, energetic. Whereas the mind is anxious, the mind is rushed, the mind says, we have to do the thing. We're not going to meet our quarterlies. We need to go. The KPIs are a mess. We have to go.
It does
do the
sound
thing.
like that
Fire
too.
him. Hire her. Let's go.
Met me,
Let's
apparently.
go. Let's go. Yeah, I've actually been reading your journal, C. Lee Smith, and it's been an interesting place for me to reside. Yeah, So thanks for sending those over. Got your facts. The brain is hurried and harried, anxious. There's no anxiety in intuition. No anxiety within the soma.
Okay.
That's not where that lives.
I can't tell you how many times I've not listened to that calm little voice and went the other direction to disastrous results. How many of us have had that happen?
Oh yeah. It's like, I knew better. I should have listened to myself.
Yeah. But that's where compassion.
Yeah. I'm interested in asking you, you've got, for lack of a better term, worker bees, line employees, and then you've got, management, and then you've got C-suiters. What are some of the specific for this audience of listeners, the top physical signs that you are overstressed and burned out to look for? I know that you have a list of those. And so what's most common in the higher performance type A's?
You're not listening to your body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that revved up feeling of what's called sympathetic activation, when there's adrenaline, eventually cortisol, the stress hormones flowing through the body. That's when our nervous systems are dysregulated. We are being driven by fight or flight, thinking that there is a lion around every corner, and every KPI that's missed, every quarterly, income statement that's missed, every memo that doesn't arrive on time feels like death and doom, right? Even low-grade death and doom is a sign that we're not leading from what's called ventral vagal, which is the safe and social part of the nervous system, which is, because science, the only part of us that has full cognitive capacity. So when you are jacked up on adrenaline or collapsed in acetylcholine, which is called the dorsal vagal state, these are the states of the nervous system where we're trying to escape lions, right? It's evolutionary, right on the evolutionary savanna of life. These are incredibly old parts of our nervous system. They are not the most evolved. And they're important, right? They keep us from dying. They keep us from walking into traffic. They keep us, right? We smell fire, we run. We love them, right? We don't malign them, but we don't lead from there. When you're leading from anxious and revved up, or I don't know, how can we, what? Right? When that's your energetic of just checked out, not present, you are not in your full leadership capacity.
That's right.
You cannot manage others with the kind of cognitive capacity that I know you have if you're sitting in that office. Furthermore, we are pack animals as humans. We need each other, and our nervous systems co-regulate each other. So if my nervous system is anxious and jacked up and worked up, I'm going to bring yours with me. Yeah. So I'm going to walk into that boardroom and attempt to lead a Monday morning meeting from sympathetic. Come on, you just wrecked the whole company for the week. Right? You just took everyone on a wild adrenaline ride that is fully unnecessary and antithetical to your goals and management. So it behooves all of us who lead other humans to learn how to map our nervous systems, regulate our nervous systems, meaning know what nervous system state we're in, and then lovingly bring ourselves back into ventral vagal, the safe and social part of the nervous system, where thyroid, digestion, reproductive health, heart and lung function, cardiac function, look, we can talk about CEOs and heart attacks in the next show, but right. And where our cognitive capacity is optimal. In that state, we are the born leaders we're born to be. Outside of that state, we are scared animals.
You know, when you're living in, when you're overusing that lizard brain, you know, it's like you're making decisions based off of fear and the fact that, is this person going to hurt me? Is this person going to make me look bad? It's like, what's my boss going to think if I do this? You know, if I make this decision, which in my gut is right, but it could come back on me and everything like that.
Sure.
You're making decisions based off of that rather than maybe I don't know, more holistic consideration of all the facts involved and using both your logic and your intuition. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, 100%. And that's why my work leans, heavily on the somatic, the nervous system, but also on thought work, which is a framework that I teach my clients and teach on my show based in cognitive behavioral theory, in which we have to look at our mindset. So if you fear someone else disliking your choice more than you fear not listening to you, not being aligned with you, you will make the wrong choice. Because you will make a choice that's externalized. It's about someone else and their thoughts, their feelings, instead of you trusting you. And so that's what it comes down to be powerful leaders, to be managers, to lead the charge. We have to trust and believe in ourselves. And when we grow up in homes with emotional outsourcing, whether it is codependency, perfectionism, and people pleasing, that those systems lead us inherently, by definition, to distrust ourselves.
Or abuse and
trauma. So we need to come back. 1,000%. Yeah. I think of it as part and parcel. Stress, distress, and trauma are part and parcel of those systems. Absolutely. And so we learn to distrust ourselves because of course we do. Children cannot think they are wrong. That their caregiver is wrong, rather. That's a dangerous stance. The person who provides food, water, a shelter, gets me to school, or maybe not, but there's a warm bed, maybe.
And then you become a teenager.
Yes, then you go into the angst phase.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
My parents are idiots.
Yeah. Right. But what got coded in the nervous system, which takes its cues ages 0 to 7, is they cannot be wrong because that is dangerous. I am too small to escape lions alone. Every child knows that inherently. A spider can make a web without thinking about it. And a child knows, do not blame those who keep me from being eaten by lions. I must be wrong. I'm a mess up. Right. And so that lives subterranean within our nervous system. And someone says, oh, hey, you have a typo in paragraph 3 of your memo, and I'm not worthy of love.
Yeah, that's how you can tell that AI didn't write it. A human being wrote it. So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But we take what could be seen as a simple correction and we make it mean something wrong and bad about us. Right. There's something inherently wrong with us. And that's where the work is. right?
These are very complicated issues, though, that are not going to be solved in a 20-minute podcast. But is there a simple, I mean, it's an amazing field that you're in, Victoria, with so many facets to this lens that we're holding up and looking at. It's kind of mind-blowing me. Is there a simple exercise you could do at your desk as a leader to try and recenter yourself when you start to feel like, at least you've done an amazing job describing what it feels like when you start to burn out and go to the edges of the...
Yeah. So the first step is to understand what ventral vagal feels like in your particular body. So what does safe and social feel like? And so we do this for most of us on the weekends or in the evening or on vacation. Take a moment when you're holding your dog's face and she's looking at you with pure love, or you're holding your baby or your best friend, right? You are in absolute chill, calm, everything's fine. Pause, mark that in your body. Oh, I feel like this light blue energy in my chest that lets me know I'm safe. Feel into it. Get vivid with the adjectives. Really mark it. And we get vivid with the adjectives because when we are in the felt experience and we name it, right? The color, the weight, the texture, the everything about it, the neocortex, the prefrontal cortex of the brain is what not the focus, the body is. Right. So these are those science tricks for this. There's a lot of science behind this that can sound a little woo. So we feel into safe and social. And from there, once we've really bookmarked that, we've really anchored ourselves in that, then we can start to explore the other two nervous system states: sympathetic, jacked up on adrenaline; dorsal, shut down, acetylcholine. Okay. When you find yourself starting to get revved up, I'm leaving my anchor. I'm not feeling that light blue. I'm feeling kind of a raggedy, you're going to take your hand and put it out in front of your face. And you're going to tap your thumb to each of your fingers. And you're going to go so slowly, you might want to explode. So you're going to tap your thumb to your first finger and go 1, your second finger 2, your ring finger 3, your pinky 4. You're going to come back, pinky 4, ring 3, index 2, or whatever, second one 2, index 1. And you're going to keep counting 1 to 4. 4 to 1, and you're going to go super slowly. The slower you go and the more you mark it with your breath, with a breath in, long, slow out. 1, 2, 3, 4. You will bring your nervous system back down from sympathetic into ventral vagal. We do not make decisions, right? We don't talk to anyone. We shut the door, we put our phone off, and we breathe and we count. So what we're doing is we're giving the limbic system, the reptile brain, a job. It likes jobs. It thinks in yes and no, black and white, all and nothing. Give it a job, right? Without a job, it will continue to freak you the F out. Give it a job. The neocortex, the executive function part of the brain, likes problem solve. Right. And it will continue to call everything in your life a problem and will try to solve it unless you actively give it a puzzle. Yeah. So give it the puzzle of counting while breathing. Can it do, and while tapping? Can it do 3 things at once? It can. You run a company. It's fine. But let it know you trust it to do that. If you feel yourself checked out, you're like, this is overwhelming. I'm looking at all these numbers, all these employees. I got to fire 30% of these people, right? Your brain is like, I cannot. You're in dorsal. You're checked out. You do not make a decision from there. So we do the same thing, but with a quickness to bring a little activation energy into the body without bringing in anxiety. Again, by giving the neocortex and the limbic system a job. Brains without jobs are unhappy brains. Don't do that. So you tap your thumb to your first finger, 1, second, 2, third, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match it with your breath and just dropping into your body while giving your brain a job, and start to sort of rev yourself up just a little bit so that you can feel yourself come back into your cognitive capacity.
How can we use that when it's easy? How can we use that when it's bedtime? Because I have the mind is racing, I lay down or whatever. It takes me a good 10, 15 minutes to get to sleep because I have to calm my brain and just to, just shut it down and turn it off. It's like, do you have any tricks for that? Good sleep, of course, is critical.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you can do the slow 1 to 4. Yeah. That's when you can do something like box breathing, where you breathe in for 4, hold for 5, out for 6, and play with those numbers. The point is that a breath in followed by a long, slow exhale. It's the long, slow exhale that relaxes autonomic nervous system. So if you think about a mammal being chased by a lion, you're not going to stop to be like, right? You might take deep breaths in so you can run faster. So deep breaths don't calm us. That is a misunderstanding of the science. It's the long, slow exhale. So really focusing on the exhale. But what I'll say is issues with sleep are morning issues. So the way you start the day is the way you end it. So if you're starting the day immediately grabbing your phone, right, immediately putting out fires, immediately giving your body dopamine with the blue light of your phone and getting on Instagram and scrolling and responding to emails with that quickness, instead of letting your body come into the day slowly, that's how you're going to end the day too. Because for so many scientific reasons, everything from dopamine to adenosine, and because you've now marked the bed as the place of anxiety. And that's just simple neuroplasticity. That's Pavlovian. That's not complex science, right? I can get complex with adenosine and how that whole system works, but we all learn this in high school psychology,
you don't need
right?
to go there.
But I can nerd hard.
Yeah. Hey, one of the things I'm experimenting with is like, I'm trying to turn off notifications.
Nobody
ding,
needs
ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
It's not only is it a distraction, but it ramps up my anxiety because I feel like I need to look at it right away because it's taking my attention away from what I'm doing. It's like, is that a good plan? And is there anything else you could recommend using with our technology getting in the way?
Phones go on airplane mode overnight. Airplane mode or completely off, or even better yet, in another room. Get an old school alarm clock to wake you up in the morning. And I know people want their phone. What if something bad happens? If your great aunt Sally dies overnight, there's nothing you can do about it. Out at 3 a.m. or 8 a.m., same difference, right? Release yourself from needing to manage the entire world and everyone's problems and everyone's everything, and allow yourself to sleep. Also, in 2006, the World Health Organization told us that the radiation from our phones is dangerous and potentially carcinogenic, and not to sleep with a phone near your head. 2006.
Oh God, and I do that.
Sleeping with the phone, right? So let's stop it, right? For health, let's turn the phone really on airplane mode so it's not transducing, which do not disturb is not the same thing. It's still talking to a satellite all night. Off is even better. Off in the other room is the most best, right? Okay. If someone's like, well, I have kids, I split with my ex, I need to know, then put your phone on do not disturb so that only, your favorited contacts can come through, and put that in the other room with the ringer all the way up, so that sure, your aging parents, if they call or your kid calls, it rings, but no one else. And put it far enough so you can only hear it in case of emergency, but everything else goes off. Sleep is one of the greatest predictors of our health and wellness. We cannot move with ease and grace between these 3 nervous system states. We cannot pick our mindset with equanimity if we are not sleeping. It is one of the most vital parts of our life. And we put our codependent family obligation stories, we put our mindset of everyone needs me, right? Which comes from a desire to control the world, right? Which we can't actually do. We put that above one of the most basic tenets of our wellness. And it's time for us all to stop.
My friend Jeffrey Gitomer likes to say, resign your position as custodian of the world.
Oof. So powerful, right?
There you go.
Yeah, you don't need that job. That's a lousy job.
It sucks.
That's a lousy job. That sucks.
And the pay is awful too.
You know what? I've been meaning to talk to my union about that. The pay really sucks. Benefits, garbage.
Oh my God.
There's literally no vacation days, and your vacation days are spent worrying about the world that you cannot control. So
now you know what to do.
Yeah.
So tonight, start Well, your website is victoriaalbina.com and LinkedIn,
Yes.
Victoria Albina, and Facebook, Victoria Albina Wellness. Are you taking new clients right now? How do you want people to reach out to you?
Yeah. So I run a 6-month program called Anchored.
And then you have something for our listeners with that program, correct?
I sure do. Yeah. So I made a special set of meditations and nervous system orienting exercises, and you can grab that at victoriaalbina.com/salesfuel. And it's free just for your listeners because they're special and need to be celebrated. So those are tools you can use any time of your day to support you so you can lead that board meeting, sleep, have a gentle morning wake up, or not kill your kids or your in-laws with your hands.
Or blunt objects. Or blunt
objects. Right. I mean, really, who looks good in an orange jumpsuit? Nobody. So
no, nobody.
Meditate instead, orient your nervous system. It's a great idea. And they're free.
Yes. No. Okay. Thanks, Victoria.
Cutie.
Thanks for being on the show. These are all great tips. Very interesting stuff. We appreciate it.
Such a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and recommend on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more great information at salesfuel.com.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.